Hi, I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for chicken pesto pasta with mushrooms and sun-dried tomatoes. This recipe is super simple to throw together, but it's really elegant. This is on par with anything you're ever going to have at an Italian restaurant, so stick around, let me show you how it's done. So I've started preheating my pasta water. We can prep the ingredients while that water comes up to temperature, but I also wanted to talk about the star ingredient. This is basil and pistachio pesto. This is the last video that I did, and a link is in the description box below. I highly recommend you make your own homemade pesto for this. You don't necessarily have to use pistachios and you don't have to use my recipe, but I highly recommend that you make your own. It's very easy and takes only a few minutes in a food processor, although if you don't have time, you certainly can use a high-end store-bought pesto. And the next ingredient is the chicken. Now you can use chicken breast if you like, but I really like chicken thighs. It's almost impossible to overcook them and they have a lot of flavor. So I've cut 4 chicken thighs into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to add just a small amount of oil. And I'm going to add some salt. And some black pepper. And I'm just going to mix that around with my hands for a moment. Okay, and I've preheated a large pan over medium-high heat. You want to make sure that this comes up to full temperature before adding the chicken. I should also note, you want to add the chicken about 5 minutes before you begin the pasta. So just make sure your pasta water is getting close to a boil when you do this. I'm going to go in with the chicken right into that pan. It's already oiled. I'm just going to spread that out evenly. And what we're going to do, we're going to let that sear for about 2 or 3 minutes before we touch it or move it at all. And you can really use any type of pasta that you like. I'm using fusilli today. This is a half a box, half a pound. I recommend Di Cecco or other high-end Italian brands of pasta. Okay, and we let our chicken go for a couple minutes. Now I'm going to flip it around a bit. You can see we have some decent color already. Now I'm going to let that go a few more minutes. Okay, and after about 4 or 5 minutes, you should have some decent color on all sides of the chicken. This is a good time to add the mushrooms. These are sliced baby bella mushrooms. Just going to get them in there. And you just want to season those mushrooms with a little bit more pepper and some salt. And give it a big stir. So once you add your mushrooms in, now's a good time to add our pasta to the boiling water. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Now I'm going to add the pasta. So you just want to get that in there and give it a big stir. And what you want to do with your chicken and mushrooms, you just want to give them a stir every couple of minutes. The mushrooms have already started to cook down. We just want to let these release a little bit more of their moisture and cook down in volume. And about 2 minutes after adding the pasta to the pasta water, we can go in with some sun-dried tomatoes. These are oil-packed, but I've drained them off. So I'm going to add that in with the chicken and mushrooms, and again, give everything a big stir just to evenly incorporate it. Okay, and just a few minutes later, I want to show you, we have some beautiful brown bits on the bottom of the pan. This is called fond. So you want to make sure that doesn't burn. But there's a lot of great flavor in there, and we want to incorporate it into our pasta sauce. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to deglaze with some Italian white wine. You just want to pour the wine in and give everything a big stir, scraping the bottom of the pan to release all of those brown bits and all that flavor. And once most of the liquid volume has reduced from adding the wine, you want to go in with some homemade chicken stock. Add that in, and again, give everything a big stir. So what we want to do is we just want to continue to cook this over medium-high heat and reduce that down in volume. And with just a couple minutes to go, you can see that that liquid is starting to evaporate. getting thicker, more concentrated with the flavor. Just a few more minutes on the pasta and we'll be able to put this pesto pasta together. Okay, and the fusilli takes a total of 10 minutes. There's only about 30 seconds left, so at the very end you want to reach in there and reserve a little bit of that starchy water. It's going to help us build the sauce. And then you want to drain but not rinse the pasta. Okay, and now we're ready to put this all together, so I'm going to turn the heat all the way down to low, and I'm going to juice half a lemon. Going to add back in the pasta. And I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of cold butter and a small amount of that starchy pasta water. And what you want to do, you want to get that all in there and then just stir everything around and keep that butter constantly moving. It'll slowly emulsify into the sauce. In just a few moments, we'll be ready to add the pesto in. And once your butter has all but disappeared, you can go in with the pistachio pesto or whatever type of pesto you're using. So I'm going to start with about 1/3 of a cup. You can always add more if you like, but this is pretty intense with flavor. And again, we just want to stir everything to evenly incorporate all that pesto throughout the dish. At this point, I'm going to turn off the heat. You'll notice that we added the pesto at the very end off of the high heat. There's ingredients in pesto that can easily scorch, so that's the reason that we waited till the very end to add that in. Okay, and after a few minutes of stirring, this is how your pesto chicken pasta should look. We are ready to plate this up. It's going to be delicious. Okay, so here's the finished dish, plated up chicken pesto pasta with mushrooms and sun-dried tomatoes. Let me dig in and give it a try. This turned out really, really well. The chicken has tons of flavor because we seared it on high heat, added some additional chicken flavor with the stock, brought it all together in that sauce that concentrated the flavors, and the pesto at the very end just really takes this over the top. I really hope you enjoyed this dish. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Italian dishes and other genres of cooking that I do. I do all types of cooking on my channel. I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking, and I'll see you again soon.